Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, we are here today to sit down and film a shop my stash. So I have my basket of goodies right here. Now, typically in the past, how I was filming these videos was that overhead, like bird's eye view style that a lot of people do. I really do enjoy filming them that way. However, with my new camera and my tripod, when I try to tilt it to get that kind of angle, the camera is just a little bit too heavy for the tripod, and so it starts to like tilt forward, tilt over, and I'm not about to risk my new camera, so we're gonna go back to filming them this way where I have already picked out my products. I have them in this basket. I'm going to show them to you on camera. We'll do swatches and talk about them. I hope that sounds interesting to you. With these Shop My Stashes moving forward, I don't know if I'm going to do them monthly. I'm still thinking about it, but right now as it sits filming this, I'm very much leaning towards just use them until you feel like you've, gotten a lot of good use out of this particular grouping of makeup products. So be that, 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now. And so I don't know, these might just become more sporadic videos on my channel. But like I said, I hope you guys are into it and I cannot wait to get into this basket with you. Okay, so before we get too much further into this video, I do just want to comment that after I had done my makeup, had it on for a little while, this eye started watering. And so if you notice the wateriness or the makeup looks a little bit funny on this eye, that's all it is. I can't control that, that's just the name of the game when you have allergies, I guess. And I thought they were gone because we're quickly heading into fall, but I was wrong. I guess they are making a reappearance and we're all just gonna work through it together, right? Alright, so I will leave chapters for you guys or timestamps down below in the description box so that you can skip around and go to whatever part that you want to. This first grouping of items I'm just going to call my base makeup. It's things that I don't necessarily have to swatch out because again, it's just base makeup. So I do have 2 primers in here. The first one is from CoverGirl. This is their Outlast All Day Primer. It's the one that comes in the white packaging with the pink stripe at the top. I just absolutely love this. I love the way that it makes my skin feel. It just feels nice. It's almost like a more it has a consistency more of a moisturizer than anything else, but it just, like I said, it makes my skin feel nice. I feel like it really just kind of gives that smoothing effect that you would find from a silicone primer, think the Smashbox Photo Focus All Day Primer, or Photo Focus Primer, I think is just the name of it. How that kind of gives your skin that blurring effect. This is not as intense as that. I don't notice as much of a blurring effect, but I definitely do get this from this bottle, and so I really do enjoy this. And then my pore filling primer that I've been using and would like to pull into this Shop My Stash is from NYX. So this is the Marshmallow Primer. I think this was a product that launched this year. I don't really enjoy this as an all-over face primer. I don't know. I feel like especially along my jawline, it can peel a little bit when I go in with foundation and cream bronzer and powder bronzers and yada yada yada, all that stuff. But using this just specifically in my T-zone, I really feel like this does do a good job smoothing out my pores and just giving me that little bit of extra, filled inness so that they're not so obvious and in your face. Alright, I'm only going to pull in one foundation for this rotation. So again, this is from CoverGirl. It's from the same line as the primer. So this is their Outlast All Day Foundation. I get mine in the shade 810 Classic Ivory. I feel like this is hands down the best drugstore foundation that I have found. It really matches me well. My second favorite would be the NYX Born to Glow, but this one is more of a full coverage foundation, whereas that NYX one is more of a medium one. And I really love this because even though it's a full coverage foundation, it never sits heavy on my skin. It never looks super cakey. It is definitely a matte foundation, but it almost has a little bit of a satinness to it, you know what I mean? So it, like I said, it just never looks cakey or anything like that. It is a hands down holy grail foundation for me. Alright, I'm going to bring in 2 powders to my Shop My Stash. So the first one is actually a powder foundation. Now this is from the Sephora collection line. So this is just their standard powdered foundation. And I get mine in the shade 08, which I think is Fair Neutral, I think. Yes, Fair Neutral is the shade that I have. So you can see how much use this has gotten. It has really nice pan on it. I do love to use this as just a standard powdered foundation. So if I want an easier makeup day, I'll just go in with concealer, blend that out, and then use this as a powder foundation. And I feel like it looks really lovely. It never looks super powdery on my skin. But more often than not, I'm using this to actually set down my concealer. So I feel like I have dark circles underneath my eyes, and especially here in this inner corner. So I have found that the best way for me to get a lot of coverage is to, one, put down a concealer and then set it in with a powder foundation. And this one never makes my under eyes look cakey or dried out or anything like that. So I really do greatly enjoy that. I also use it to like set down my smile lines and like around my nose and things like that. And again, it just really helps my foundation stay in place. So then the loose powder that I am bringing in, because I like to set like my cheek area with a loose powder, I just feel like by doing that, I'm more successful to like blend out my blush, bronzer, and highlighter together. So this is from Beauty Bakery. This is their flower setting, loose setting powder. I have mine in the shade Oat, which is their translucent one. If I'm not mistaken, I think they have 4 powders, so they have a yellow one for sure, but then I think they have like a medium and a deep one as well. This is a really like, I guess, finely milled powder. Like, it's just super soft, and it really does, like, once I set it down, it sets everything into place, but it really helps to lock everything in, and I just feel like my makeup wears really beautifully. So this is quite a recent like purchase for me in my life, but it's a product that I've been using quite consistently, quite often off camera, and I just can't put it down. All right, so last up in this grouping, we will talk about my 2 setting sprays, and neither one of them are actually setting sprays. Let's get into this. So I have from CoverGirl, this is their Clean Fresh Prep and Set Water Mist. Now, as we move into these drier, colder months, I feel like my skin gets very dull looking, very lifeless. So what I will do is after I put on my primers, I will spray some type of like refresh, kind of hydrating spray onto my skin, and then I'll pad that in with a beauty blender, and then I'll go in with my foundation of choice. I know that seems like a little bit of like an extra step, but just for me personally, I feel like that has been the most like helpful way that I have found to, like I said, just add some more oomph back into my skin, get it looking not so dull and just, you know. So then the other spray that I have is from MAC. So this is their Fix Plus spray. So I guess this is technically a finishing spray. However, I do use this one more as a setting spray. So this is the last step in my like makeup, you know, application. I really do enjoy this. I feel like this greatly takes down the powderiness of all like the products, and it just helps melt everything together. All right, so let's get into some base products like blush, bronzer, and highlighter. So starting with bronzers, I do have a cream one and a powder one. So my cream one is from Fenty Beauty. This is in the shade Butter Biscuit. I just love saying that. So this is, I believe, the lightest shade that they offer in their cream bronzer line, and I really do enjoy this. Hopefully it translates for you guys on camera, but this is very much of like a cool neutral type foundation, not foundation, bronzer, which is really what I like to go for. So here's a swatch of it, and I did kind of blend it out a little bit onto my hand, but I just feel like this is, it's exactly what I want when it's, you know, I don't want a bronzer that's super warm. I just really prefer them to be on the more neutral to cool side. So then my powder bronzer that I'm going to bring in is from Nabla. So this is part of their skin bronzing line, and this is in the shade Ambra. Now this is the lightest shade that they offer from their line. You guys can see, like, I have used quite a good bit of this. Like, I only have what's hanging out around the edges of the pan, so I'm just kind of going to keep this in until I finish it off, because for me, bronzer is the type of thing where I shouldn't have as many as I do in my collection, because I feel like they all kind of do the same thing, so I can just use the same one day in and day out and not get bored of it like I would like a blush or a highlighter, you know. So I did swatch out the Amber shade underneath that Fenty bronzer. I do have both of these on today, and I do really enjoy this. This skin glazing line from Nabla is more of that like gelée formula, you know. It's like baked onto the pan, but it's definitely, it's not a cream, but it's not a powder. It's really interesting. They do wear pretty lovely, and I do, like I said, I just want to finish it off. It's not like my favorite bronzer, but it's not terrible. All right, so let's talk about some blushes. So I have one liquid blush. This is from Rare Beauty. This is just a little mini guy. I don't know if this was part of a Sephora birthday set one year, but I do know last year for Christmas, they did release like a little holiday set, like a trio of mini sizes of 3 of their liquid blushes. So it might have come from that. But either way, this is in the shade Hope. So I will put it right here for you guys. It's not like, it's just a neutral pink blush, but I really do like it. I like the way that it wears. I like the way that these blend out. Like, they just wear nicely. All right, so some powder blushes. I'm going to roll up the sleeve so we can do some swatches. Powder blushes. So the first one is from Benefit. This was a new blush that they launched this year in a whole collection of blushes, but this is their Butterfly blush. So this one is the more orange blush, as you can see. It does have a little bit of like a golden shift to it. I will swatch this out for you guys, but it's just so pretty. I absolutely loved wearing this in the summertime, but orange blushes are also just for me, like they scream fall. Like I think it's really just the changing of the leaves. I am not yet ready to pull out my more heavy like pinky brown blushes. Those are more like my winter shades. I still in the fall months very much want to wear like the pinks and the oranges and corals and things like that. And I really do love this, especially since it has like that gold shimmer to it. It just wears so nicely and so beautifully. Okay, so then for blushes, I also want to pull out this palette from BH Cosmetics. This is their Peach Bellini palette. I think this launched with their brunch series, but I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, it is a little bit of a holographic background, but this is what this palette looks like. It's really lovely. So you have like this baby doll pink blush all the way down to kind of this like orangey coral blush. So I love the shade variety that you get in here. I can get away with wearing every single one of these blushes. Some of the darker shades I just have to go in with a little bit of a lighter hand, but I did swatch them out here for you guys. So it's this 6th row. Like you can see, that was the Rare Beauty, that was the Benefit. So then over here on this side is all 6 of those blushes. This top one is that lightest baby doll pink shade. And you do have to build it up, but it really does turn out to be like a very pretty blush. And it's especially one that I feel like I'm going to get a lot of use out of, because if I go in too ham with a blush, I really like to take these baby doll pink ones and kind of layer them over it and kind of help to blend it out and soften it a little bit. So yeah, that will be all of my blushes for this Shop My Stash. All right, my hand is getting a little bit raw, but I think it's going to be okay. So highlighters, I do have 2 liquid or cream highlighters that I would like to use. So again, this first one is from Rare Beauty. This is in the shade Mesmerize. Now these more liquid type highlighters like this one, what I like to do is use these to mix into my foundation. Again, since I am a more full coverage matte kind of girl, I just feel like adding these kinds of liquid highlighters into my foundations helps to like give my skin back some of that like life, you know, that kind of the matte foundations take away. So this one definitely has more of like a pinky shift to it. It is really pretty. And then the other like cream highlighter, now this one I will use much more like a highlighter like on the high points of my face. But this is from ColourPop. This was from their Winnie the Pooh collection. So this is the shade 100 Acre Wood. If I could get it open. I am so like fearful of everything from ColourPop that's cream based drying out. So I like screw my caps on super tightly. But this is just a really pretty golden highlighter, and it's so flattering. Like I just feel like, I don't know, it just looks amazing. I just love wearing it. Like I can't get enough of it. It's such a pretty shade. I wish they would make this like part of their permanent line, but I don't think that they will. But yeah, it's just the best like golden toned highlighter. It's not too icy. It's not too warm. It's not too brassy. Absolutely love it. Alright, so I would also like to bring in this powder highlighter from Nabla. So this is, again, part of their skin glazing line. This is in the shade Privilege. This is the highlighter that I have on today. It's just this really pretty, like, peachy highlighter, but it's not, like, super blinding or intense. Now, I, like, really dug my finger in there just to make sure that I could give you guys, like, a really nice swatch of it. So, again, it is more of, like, a peachy kind of highlighter, but I feel like if you just use your brush and go in with not necessarily even a light hand, just a regular hand, like this is just one of those highlighters that gives you that lit from within glow, and it just looks really nice and subtle. Like think Mary Luminizer from the Balm, you know what I mean? So it's not on that icy side, and I just really appreciate it. And again, this is a highlighter that I was using a lot over the summer, but I think that it translates really well to what I particularly like in the fall. Alright, so the last group of highlighters that I would like to bring in, this is from Glamlight. So this was in collaboration with Michaela. This is part of the Part 2 collection. I don't know. I don't have a good Boston accent, okay? But this is a highlighter trio. I really do enjoy this. When I first saw this online, I wasn't really interested in this, but I was actually able to find this whole collection at my local CVS. So I did pick up the highlighter trio, one of the lip kits, and the eyeshadow palette. And I don't know, I've heard some people say like, oh, my CVS coupons didn't work on it. But I had a like 40% off your entire purchase coupon, and I was buying other stuff, and so I just entered that in thinking that it wouldn't work on like this collection, but it actually did. Like on my receipt, it shows where it took the money off. So either way, I just enjoyed that I could actually like go in store and see this, because These highlighters are so pretty. This blue one right here, Starstruck, I've been wearing that one so much recently in videos and just in my day-to-day life. This middle one is really pretty as well. It's kind of, both of these first two are like a white-based highlighter with a shift. So Starstruck very much has like a blue-purple shift. And then this middle one, which is Blinding. It has like a minty green shift. It's just really pretty. And then this last one is Are You Kidding Me? Now this one is a little bit dark for me. I can't get away with it as a highlighter, but it really does make quite a beautiful eyeshadow as well as like an inner corner highlight. So again, this top one is the one that kind of has like the blue shift to it. This one is the one that has the minty shift to it. And then the last one is really pretty. It definitely has like a green gold shift to it, and it very much reminds me of like Electric from the ABH Subculture palette. All right, let's get into some lip products. So this first one is from ColourPop. So this is one of their Luxe lip oils. This is in the shade, what is this? Hey with 3 Y's. So this is very much a like really nice like burgundy plummy kind of shade. These lip oils, I did not like them at first. However, I used up the one that I had, which was Hot Spark, which was more of like an orangey one. And I really did, like after panning that one and using it up completely, I really did find that I did like these. Now they do not offer like a nice like opaque color, like they very much are on the very softer side, but I enjoy these because they're very nourishing. And then I also feel like they do layer nicely on top of lip products. So I do tend to use them like as a lip balm or as a lip gloss. So I'm going to bring that one in because it's just the perfect like fall color in my opinion. Then the other lip gloss that I want to bring in, this is from Jeffree Star. So this is in the shade Mouthful. Now this was a gift to me. I would not have like picked this out. This is a really pretty shade. And the formula of this is really nice. It's just like a pinky nude kind of lip gloss. Really wears beautifully over any kind of lipstick that I have on. But the packaging of this is just like, I don't know, that's just too much. You know what I mean? I'm all for innovative packaging or like trying to be out of the box and like stand out, but like this is just a pain to store. It's just not fun. Like I have dropped this and it like 1 in a million chance perfectly this point fell like onto my foot, and oh, that was the worst pain ever. So while this is really pretty, don't like the packaging, don't like anything about him, but I have the gloss, so I'm going to use it. Okay, 2 bullet lipsticks. So the first one is from Tarte. So this is part of their Rainforest of the Sea collection. This is in the shade Rum Punch. It has a puppy hair on it because my whole life is puppy hair. But this is what this one looks like. It's really just a nice kind of neutral brown pink kind of bullet lipstick. I really do enjoy this. I really love mixing this kind of shade with some of those more intense pinky colors that I have. So I'll put like a more intense pink color on, and then in the center of my lips I will put this Tarte Rum Punch, rub them together, and then I just feel like it makes my perfect nude shade. So then the other bullet lipstick I have is from the Sephora collection. So this is their, oh, this was the shade Adventuring. It's the one that has the giraffe on it. And again, puppy hair on my lipstick. But anyway, this is what this one looks like. So this one is definitely more, it's still on the neutral side of things, but it's definitely not a pink. It's almost like an orangey red kind of brown shade. I don't know, maybe that like doesn't sound all that like flattering to you guys, but I just feel like this is a really great nude shade, and I do enjoy wearing this and topping this off with a gloss. It's beautiful on its own. So then something that's really underutilized in my collection is liquid lipsticks, but I have 2 of them from Eye. So I would like to pull out this one. It's in the shade Perfect Plum. Now these from Eye are super drying. Like your lips are gonna feel like the Sahara Desert. So if you're interested in picking some of these up, I would definitely recommend having a good gloss or balm in mind to like layer under and over it, because that then makes it way more comfortable. But they do wear beautifully. They do fade so nicely. Like I really do enjoy them for that sense. Like they never fade like patchy. But anyway, there's that shade Perfect Plum down there. So it's just this really pretty like dark vampy kind of purple shade. Just absolutely love it for this time of year. Alright, so let's talk about 3 eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to pull into this Shop My Stash. Now, I've already filmed and posted my favorite fall palettes, if I'm not mistaken. So 2 of these were not featured in that video, and one of them was. I just really want to pull for what I want to pull for, you know what I mean? Like whatever I feel inspired by. And so when I was pulling all the rest of my makeup for this Shop My Stash, these were the 3 eyeshadow palettes where I was like, ooh, I can see a lot of looks coming from you. You know what I mean? So the first one is the one that I actually have on my eyes. So this is from Glamlight. This was their Frosted Flakes collaboration palette. So this is very much like a blue-orange palette, and I really do enjoy it. Like I said, it is today's eye look. So I have on the shades Go Getter, Teamwork, Breakfast Time, Milk, Tiger Paw, and Tony the Tiger to create this eye look. It's really pretty, really fun. I love blues and oranges together. You just have to be careful that you don't like actually blend them together because they will turn a little bit muddy, like a little bit of like a green color. But if you're just careful with that placement, like you can really get like a successful eye look. And like I said, I am really enjoying this one that I have on. You know, I guess I could give you some swatches from the eyeshadow palette. So this first shade is that Tiger Paw shade. I just couldn't help myself. My eye is so drawn to that shade every time I open up this palette. But then their blues are really nice too. So I did swatch out 2 of the blue eyeshadows. These are all the shimmers from there. I really do enjoy the Glamlight formula. Their shimmer shadows are a little bit more of that like putty texture. Alright, so this next palette is probably a palette that's just going to live on my vanity from here until spring because I just love it that much. So it is the Natasha Denona Retro palette. So this is what it looks like on the inside. It's very much a berry themed eyeshadow palette, and I absolutely love this kind of color story. I love that this leans more on the like neutral cool side of things. I feel like a lot of times when we get berry eyeshadows, they do tend to be a little bit more warmer. Not that those aren't pretty. I do enjoy warmer berry tones as well, but there's just something about it being cool toned, like it's just so pretty. So here's some swatches of some of the shades from there. Again, it's just so fun to play with and combine these berry shades, not only with the pinks that she included, but with these more like taupey gray shades that are in there. Alright, so then the last palette I pulled out is a new palette to me. I just got it in the mail. I have not yet had the time to put this in on my eyeballs and see how I feel about it. So this is from Beauty Bay. This was their collaboration palette with Jade. So I really had my eye on the Wilderness and the Book of Magic palettes and the Age of Opulent palettes, but those were like in and out like before you could even blink. Like I feel like that is one thing that Beauty Bay does, is they tend to discontinue some of their really like well-received palettes, and then they'll keep other ones that aren't doing so well. That's just my opinion. But I've always wanted to try the brand and try the formula out. And so when I saw this Jade palette, like it is really huge. Like there are 42 eyeshadows in this palette. Somebody needs to put a hold on me and not let me keep buying these huge eyeshadow palettes. But either way, I felt like some of the colors that you got within this palette definitely gave me like Age of Opulence, Book of Magic, Wilderness type vibes, especially like these bottom rows down here. So that was really what called to me. And like I said, I just really want to try out their formula for myself. I feel like a lot of people give them really good reviews, and so I'm interested to see how I get on with them. I did swatch out some of the shadows here, and I have to say these bottom 2 shades from that murky green corner, ooh, they're just calling my name, obviously, and these swatch so beautifully. This would honestly make like a really nice 2 and done, like little simple eyeshadow look. So it was these 2 shades down here in the corner, the matte green called Orin or Orion. I don't know, I don't have my glasses on. And then this one was Mother Earth. So I really do enjoy both of these. You know what? Since this is kind of like a space theme palette, I'm going to say that that's not Orin. That's probably Orion. Anyway, that concludes this Shop My Stash. I hope that this video wasn't too terribly long, but it probably was because Haley likes to ramble. So, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!